crazy with some speed in it, like.
Yo, how's it going, guys? My name is Beast22 for those of you that do not know me, and welcome to my little shitty corner of YouTube where we do things, weird things, messed up things, just things in general. In today's video, I just wanted to make a bit of a beginner's guide for Modern Warfare for anyone who just picked it up today when it officially dropped, or yesterday when it dropped for pre-order. So basically, there's really only two things I'm going to recommend. Just go over your weapons, and you're going to want to edit your loadout. So if you're level 1, you can't do this. I do believe you have to wait till you're level 5 or level 3 to edit your classes or loadouts. But I do recommend making a P90 class, and then putting your secondary weapon as the 357 XRK 357. That's just the specialty, but really, you can put the beginner pistol right here. Or if you guys did buy the pristine edition of Call of Duty when it was on pre-order, you can use the Warhawk. It'll show up. The Warhawk, or you can use what I'm using, the XRK 357. When you first start off, obviously, you're not going to have all the gunsmith attachments and everything that I'm showing right here that I will be going through, or the perks and the lethal and tactical weapons. But as you level up this gun, I got it to level 17 in about 6 games, so that kind of shows you how easy that really is. For your perks, you're going to want to put EOD, you're going to want to get High Alert, and you're going to want to put on some Tune-Up. That way you can reduce your field upgrades by 33%, and it's just going to help you overall so that you can keep on gunning. If you go over here to field upgrades in the weapons area, we have on Dead Silence. The reason behind Dead Silence is running around with an SMG like the P90, especially in Modern Warfare where it's extremely OP, you're going to want to have something so you aren't heard and you move a bit faster. For my lethal, I run a Molotov. Sometimes I'll run a frag grenade, but typically the Molotov cocktail is where it is at for me. And for my tactical guys, I like to run a little bit of a smoke grenade, because on hardpoint or search and destroy, you can throw that nice smoke grenade right down on you. And then you can pull out that Molotov and throw it on one of the entrances so that you know you're guarded from that side while you plant, defuse, or secure the area. Getting into the gunsmith area of things, on the muzzle I put a muzzle brake just to help with the recoil and make it a little more straight. I don't put on a barrel. No laser is needed for these. And for your optic, I run a Viper reflex sight. For me, I feel like it helps me do a bit better, but you can really run any of these. There's really no difference other than the accuracy, damage, and range. I run a Forge Tac CQB comb stock on the back of this just to help me down the sights. And then for a perk, I just run FMJ just to help put a little more punch on that damage and help shoot through concrete. So guys, moving on from the P90, another thing I recommend, you can do one of these two classes or you can do both of them. It's all up to you. Here you have your little run around and just shoot and kill people, and here's your more medium range, long range kind of AR. Both of these are very easy to kind of get a grasp for, and this AR that we're going to be using is the Kilo 141. It's the first one that you actually unlock. So if you go to the gunsmith, all I put on it, I don't put a muzzle brake on it. You don't really need one. If you were to put one on, you could put on a flash guard or an actual muzzle brake. That's up to you. The optic that I do run is an operator reflex sight. I am a big fan of reflexes if you've ever seen a Rainbow Six video of mine, so that's kind of where that comes from. And the perk I run is obviously FMJ. Again, put a little bit more pack on that damage. My secondary I use is the 911 Javelina, or as people call it for short, the Warhawk. On the Warhawk, all I run is just that 911 Stalker barrel and the perk of Mo Money, and then I'm all good on that. Because it's an AR, you tend to run out of ammo a little bit faster than normal. So I run Scavenger for obvious reasons. I run Restock, and I run Amped. If we go back to field upgrades, I typically will run the Recon drone, remote control drone that marks enemies, just so that I know where I'm looking and where I'm aiming. Or I'll run Stopping Power Rounds. Stopping Power Rounds, for anyone that don't know, that's just gives you a little extra damage when you load these bullets into your gun. It packs a little more punch. And for lethal, I always run a frag grenade and then a flash grenade, because when you're moving into a building and sweeping it out more tactically with this AR, especially if you're playing search and destroy, you're going to want a flash grenade to kind of flash to enemies so they don't see you coming. And now, guys, with that all said, let's go ahead and start playing, get some gameplay, and look at what we got going on. Now, guys, coming back off of the loadouts and what you should use for your loadouts, I want to talk about the kill time in Modern Warfare, which is honestly one of the fastest kill times we have had in a Call of Duty, the other, of course, being Ghost. We're coming right off of one of the slowest, I want to say, kill times in Black Ops 4, so this is a very big adjustment for everyone. And this game is meant for players to get kills. It's meant for everything to be even. All the maps are designed for you to get a kill and be able to kill a guy no matter where they're stationed or where they are. I mean, every single map has many corridors and many doors to buildings and windows and all sorts of things, back alleys and main streets for the players to get kills and kind of balance out the play. Another big factor coming into playing Modern Warfare is the kill streaks. If you get all 3 of your kill streaks, they don't reset like they did in previous Call of Duties, and we haven't seen this really done since Black Ops 1. But when you die, you're going to see a lot of good players just going out in the open and dying to get more kill streaks. So, as soon as you hit that 3rd kill streak, I do recommend just go out in the middle of like a street where there's a lot of gunfire and just die, let them kill you, and then go out and start fighting again so that you can just build up your kill streak. Because if you go out there and actually put up a fight and say you kill 3 of them, well, those 3 people most likely will not be in that same position that you were able to scout when they just killed you. So with all of that being said, I feel like it's safe to say that you guys should be feeling safe practically to rush people. Like you see here, I run all over the map and I just look for people. That's how you get kills, and that's how you take people out of their comfort zone. If you let them push you and you're just camping or like sitting in a corner, they're going to think it's an easy kill, and that's going to give them a false sense of security, because although you had that angle, most likely they're going to pressure you into this gunfight when you don't want to be in it. A lot of things that will go into these gunfights and who's victorious are the first shots of it all. If you are using the P90, like I said before, and you light 2 into him, and then he starts spraying you back, most likely you're going to win, because the P90 does a good bit of damage, and it's a very decent gun to start with. While, if you were to load 2 shots into someone with, say, just a regular AR from very far away, and then you guys get into a more mid-range or close-range battle, and he starts lighting you up, and you still aren't hitting a whole lot of shots, but you are still fairly accurate, he will still probably win that gunfight for the sake of he has the better damage dealt, I guess that I would say. In the scenario of the gameplay, for example, I'm using a shotgun that is actually the R90 shotgun, which is one of the hardest shotguns to learn, but definitely one of the best. So you see, I just rush people and I take them out of their comfort zone, and make sure you're always jumping. When you get into a gunfight, especially rushing someone, if you jump up, that's going to give you a better chance of hitting their head while they can only hit your legs and your toes. Don't be afraid to die and lose and not do good your first few matches. I mean, it takes time, and that's a part with every video game. Just don't rage quit and say, oh, I'm done. If you're having consecutive bad games, I don't recommend getting off. I recommend playing through it and maybe even recording your gameplay and then afterwards watching through and say, oh, I shouldn't be pushing this side consistently, because when you look at the gameplay, you might be seeing you were constantly pushing up that right side and all that guy had to do was just hold this angle, although you knew where he was. Even if you pre-fire, if you just keep running the same way, that's not always good. So make sure you switch up your gameplay. Maybe beginning of the match, run straight up mid. Then after you die, run again up mid, and then right flank, then maybe left flank, and just change it up. You don't want to be predictable for the enemies. And with how I was saying, don't rage quit or don't leave if you're doing bad, this all goes back to, in professional sports, when they're in a slump, it lasts for a few games, which can be a few days, a few weeks, or however long the slump is. In gaming, however, a slump is really only, I would say, the max, maybe 2 hours. Now, I understand that might seem like a lot of time. You're not getting a whole lot of XP from this time. But really, you still are, because the teammates on your team are still putting up points, and they're winning the game. And you're still going to be getting kills here and there. So don't leave. You will learn. You will get better. You will get over this slump, you could say. And then improve for later on. And end up coming back and beating your opponents. So let's just get a bit of a recap here, guys. If you use the Kilo and the P90, most likely you guys will get a good bit of kills, and those will help you get on your feet. Those are some of the first SMG and AR that you unlock, and they're really easy to understand, and they're really OP, especially that P90, so use it wisely. Attachments however, are more up to you. Don't just do what other people say. Make it your own. Make it what you're comfortable with. Heck, in Rainbow Six, I run a lot of reflexes and suppressors on defense, and a lot of people don't find that very useful, while I find it actually helps me get better and play better at the game, surprisingly. The perks I already went over. Those are all just based off of the class for the P90 and the Kilo. Again, guys, if you do need to remember anything or go back to anything, make sure you just go ahead, scroll back to that part in the video, and then you can pause it and see what I used and what to use for yourself in that scenario. With kill streaks being a big part of this game, make sure you guys do use that dead silence I talked about to help you if you start getting flooded and you need maybe 2-3 more kills to get your last kill streak, or maybe your first or second kill streak. I recommend popping dead silence and booking it out of there through the back or through the front if they're coming through the back, because you don't want to get killed by them and lose all your potential kill streaks. And it's just honestly safer. Don't risk the gunfight if you don't think you can win. Just leave and then go back later and try and flank them like they were to you. But make sure you have dead silence so they don't hear you coming. Until next time, guys, my name is Boost22, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
Always tired, but I'm putting with them hoes. They only want me for my money and my snow. 120 on the 101, double shifted in my Lambo. Dripping and flexing, no fading, never take it slow. I think I'm killing the game. You think I'm killing myself? They say I'm going Cobain. I'm out here making it well. I've been drinking all night. Some